don't know if y'all was watching. As Shauna Redmond, as Professor Redmond was giving us the eloquence around her studies of FELA KUTI, we had Mrs. SANDRA IZSADORE here looking at her and nodding like, yeah, that's the truth, right? How many times have academics and others told non-truths about our stories and can't be validated, right? But when you can have two black women in the room or black bodies in the room who are acknowledging one another, it is indeed a powerful thing. And it was a very perfect segue for the very first question that I have to ask. And you have that microphone, so I'm going to ask you. So, Sandra, it's been written that you were the grounding force in politicizing FELA. FELA himself told Arthur Carlos Moore in an interview that Sandra gave me the education I wanted to know. She was the one who opened my eyes. She taught me what she knew, and what she knew was enough for me to start on. Can you talk about that grounding and that anchor? Can you share?
When FELA came in 1969, I was looking for, I was a very angry young black woman that had come to the realization that I had been lied to about everything. I was reared in a Christian home, and of course, you in the Christian home, they teach you all about Jesus, and then from that, Santa Claus and Disneyland and television, and at that time, we had moved into this all-white neighborhood. I'm going all the way from the beginning.
Oh, take it back.
Yeah.
We all right? Yeah. In the room, we are. Yeah.
So it was all of these things that started to register, and I was that little girl that used to wonder when she was going to turn white and her eyes turn blue and her hair would be blonde, because my parents moved me into this all-white neighborhood, but they hadn't given me a foundation because my parents wanted to hide the ugly truth of America. So here I am with all these negative images, television, nothing positive, that I said that these people that are running, and Tarzan is the king of, they're like me. So that must be where I'm from, in my 6-year-old mind. So growing up and learning and all the different things, then it occurred to me that I'm going to need an African to teach me our story.
Say that.
It's going to take an African man to teach me. So I went in search of an African man. And so, I met many African students here in America. But the African students, it was mostly males coming at that time, that were coming on scholarships. They were coming from very rural areas, and I mean huts, rivers, like that. And so it was like, and they all loved Jesus, so I still had a problem. And, I'm in the Sawaba African Dance Theater, and it was during that time when I met Juno Lewis that was playing the djembe and drum maker, and I'm just in search of Africa. And Juno says, hey, there's this band here from Africa that you just have to meet. And they were playing at the Bill of Fare, which is over there in, Baldwin Hills area, which is no longer there anymore because they put the Kaiser there. They've torn all that out. But I never made it. And then one Sunday, Juno was insistent that I meet this band. So that Sunday, he came and picked me up from my mom's house. And I really didn't want to go. I had a car, but I wasn't driving. It was like I was forced to go. And Juno brought me downtown here to the Ambassador Hotel, which is no longer the Ambassador Hotel on Wilshire Boulevard. And as soon as I walked in, I looked up, and as I was looking up, Fela was looking down in the audience. And it was like, I'm telling you, it was a connection from day one. And I'm sitting at the table and everything, and intermission came, and Juno says, come on, I want you to come to the bar, I want you to meet someone. So I look back, and I see Fela standing there. So it was Juno Lewis who introduced me to Fela. At that time, I had been influenced by the Panther Party. My cousin Aubrey was low-key Panther. And, you know, all of this knowledge was coming in. What happened, with all this coming in and everything, it started to make me very angry, finding out and knowing the truth. And at that time, conscious music was being played. And I always gravitated towards conscious music. And so I met Fela, and we went out. We hung out. At that time, it was Liso Temkulo, it was Mufasa. We went and we hung out, and I was saying, yeah, you know, he seems like a pretty cool brother, but you know, I don't know how cool he is. Let's see if he'll smoke a joint with me.
All right, we see.
Once Fela smoked the joint with me, I said, oh yeah, then it was on. You know, as far as I'm concerned, that's part of the religious ceremony. Having a good joint, okay? So, it was from there, and then Fela and I got together. It was one of those things where we hooked up immediately. He took me to the house where they were staying, and I'm telling you, I was green. I didn't know about visas. I didn't know about any of those things. But anyway, Fela took me to the house, and I heard the band play for the first day. Beautiful home too. And I loved the music that they were playing. It was this one song that was in particular called Abe. So later that evening, I asked Fela, I said, what is the meaning of this song? And when he was so proud to tell me that song was about his soup.
Soup?
Yeah, soup.
Like chicken soup.
Yeah, and you know, Nigerians, I find that, you know, they have some love songs, some serious love songs. I mean, they be wailing, and they be talking about food. So when Fela, you see how you laughing? When Fela told me it was about his soup, I started laughing. And I mean, I was laughing really high, you know, plus I was high too. So, you know, I mean, how you gonna be singing about some soup? And you know, that's when we had our first discussion. And I told him that he had a platform. So instead of singing about soup, he should sing about things that would make change and make people think, to wake up the mind of an individual. So all this time, you know, and I'm talking and I'm telling him what little I do know, and I'm putting Africa elevated very high, and Fela didn't have that attitude. And I think the straw that really made us link and connect when he said that Africans were stupid. And I was like, oh no, you know, my king, the prince, the one that was supposed to teach me, telling me Africans are stupid. So I had a breakdown. And I think from that breakdown, it was so impressionable upon Fela that he never said anything else to me. I guess he just listened to me, and I was the one teaching and didn't know it. I had no idea, but I was exposing him to books, to art, things that were not appreciated in Africa. And even if you go to Africa today, especially Nigeria, Nigeria has so many beautiful things, but they prefer the Western things. I'm buying Africa and they're buying the West. And I'm like, what's wrong? And I just found so many things wrong. So Fela and I, in our naivety, we're gonna change the world. We're going to help government. We're going to present our ideas and we're going to put it in music and they're going to listen and they're going to love us. Little did we know. We were fighting the beast and had no idea. So, I just want you to know that I feel honored this evening to see this movement. Because I remember how it started when it was just us and very few. And then I'm here with this man. When I remember back in the day, I was like, oh, yes. Because they were bringing knowledge and they were doing it through music. And music was our weapon and is our weapon. But then guess what? The record industries saw that. And they said, these people are becoming too powerful. We have to switch, flip the script. And they did. I don't want to call no names. Okay? But they, I don't like to, but,
You don't like to, but you will, huh? I got your back.
Yeah, they brought in people like Lil Wayne. Bringing in, when if I ain't wetting you, or I got my chain, my ride, my 22s. Okay, you got all that. But what about us? How about some knowledge for us? They shut that down, and I think you know.
So that's the perfect segue. Pass that mic to Chuck real quick. Give it up for Chuck.